breaths. You can even put your hand in front of you and you feel the breath. It's magical. So many times we don't ask for help because we are afraid we are going to feel weak.
Today, we have the privilege of hosting a best-selling author, speaker, and inspiring figure, Agapi Stassinopoulos. Agapi is well known for her incredible wisdom and teachings about life, love, and happiness, which she shares generously with the world. Her popular books such as Unbinding the Heart and Wake Up to the Joy of You have touched the hearts of readers worldwide. Her most recent book, Speaking with Spirit, brings a fresh perspective on the power of prayer. Agapi has also been a part of Thrive Global, a company founded by her sister, Ariana Huffington. With a background in drama and psychology, Agapi's unique lens on life and human nature is both intriguing and enlightening.
Thank you so much, Anayet. I love this introduction. I'm going to copy it, actually. You know, if we want to understand something like spirit or God or anything, we have to study it. We have to really devote ourselves to it.
Yeah, you need to spend 1,000 hours doing it to understand it, how it really does.
You can't just expect to reap the benefits and rewards of this by doing it for the first 60 seconds and say, oh, well, this doesn't work. Okay, time to move on.
Ships are safe in the harbor, but that's not what ships are made for. I'm going to leave this podcast better than when I started. I will feel more uplifted because we connected. That's what life is about.
The Avenue of the Strongest is a podcast dedicated to exploring the lives and experiences of the most inspiring individuals from around the world. Each episode features interviews with fascinating guests who share their insights and wisdom on a variety of topics, including education, impact, motivation, health, and learning. Here are your hosts, Anayet Chowdhury and Vlad Suleiman.
Agapi, it is my absolute pleasure getting to speak with you. I am extremely grateful for you being here today.
Thank you so much, Anayet. I love this introduction. I'm going to copy it, actually. It so sort of summarizes me, right? And hi, Vlad. It's wonderful to see you both. And I'm very touched by the work you are doing, by your good energy, by your good spirit. And I'm so glad that you reached out to me. This is something that my mother raised me and Ariana with the foundation of education. She said, this is your dowry. You know how women and girls in different countries, they have to have a diary to get married. My mother said, this is your dowry, your education. This is your bracelet. This is your currency in the world. And you guys are into helping kids be educated and empowering teachers. And that just means the world to me. I mean, anything I can do to really support your work and the work of these amazing teachers, it is a privilege because, teachers are the mothers and the healers of the world and the fathers, of course, the fathers, the mothers, and the teachers of the world. And they are the ones who nurture and really build your foundation. If I ask anybody, remind me of a teacher that shaped your life, everybody has somebody who said, this teacher helped me, and I'll tell you more about mine, discover who I am. It is incredible the responsibility that teachers have to bring love, to bring confidence, courage, all the great qualities of humankind that are in us need to be nurtured. There are seeds that are planted, and we need to nurture them, and we need to love the kids and give them confidence and never punish them. My mother never believed in punishment. She never believed in hitting anybody. She never believed in making anybody feel bad about what they were doing. She was always encouraging us to be who we are.
This podcast is sponsored by ArgoPrep, an award-winning edtech company serving over 1 million students nationwide. We understand that as parents, you want to ensure that your child receives the best education possible. Say hello to ArgoPrep. With over 15 plus educational awards earned in just the past year, ArgoPrep's platform offers your child video lessons, quizzes, drills, printable worksheets, and more. Best of all, your ArgoPrep subscription comes included with 4 comprehensive digital workbooks that cover all 4 subjects: math, ELA, science, and social studies. Visit argoprep.com today and start your free trial. Thank you so much for those kind words. And it of course, means a lot to us. But more importantly, I love that you started out the conversation with your mother. This is very interesting because my first segment was going to be talking a lot about your mom because I know you talk a lot about your mom during the interviews. And I have to say, I really enjoy getting to hear all of the different stories over the past couple of days, where I heard many stories that you shared, you and Ariana, of course, shared over the years about your mom and the experience. But I know that your mom actually taught you and your sister, of course, how to meditate, right? When you were pretty young, so
Yes.
you grew up seeing meditation as a cure for everything, right? It really helped you do many different things.
And yoga and meditation. I was 12 years old when my mother said, I'm going to bring a yoga teacher to teach us yoga. And I went, what is yoga? And there was this amazing yoga teacher teaching us. I don't know if you guys do yoga, down dog and headstands and pigeon and every single, and cobra and levitating basically. And I had this young little thin body and I could do anything. And my mother was reading an incredible book I highly recommend to everybody. It's called The Autobiography of a Yogi
Mm,
by Paramahansa Yogananda, who is a very well known yoga teacher. This book actually has helped so many people awaken to their soul reality and to their high consciousness. And it's the biography of this incredible man who describes how yogis live in the Himalayas for thousands of years and they go in and out of their bodies and they realize that there is another reality beyond your body. But he makes it so real and practical. He has a center in Los Angeles called the Self Realization Fellowship.
mhm,
And that book, when I was 23 years old, I moved from my journey basically goes. I was born in Athens. I was educated in London at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts. And then I went to Los Angeles at the age of 23 to do a movie. And the movie didn't work out. And I started embarking on a spiritual journey because I really wanted to find out what my life was about. So I had a real yearning to connect to something bigger than myself, but I didn't really know what to call it. I just kept
mm,
reading spiritual books, and Autobiography of a Yogi was a book that I found at the bookstore, and I remember my mother used to have it in Greek. So I started to read it, and while I was reading it, I had a spiritual awakening.
mm,
And it was like, I call it a moment of grace where I really remembered uh, who I was. And I have a lot of compassion and a lot of understanding for, because a lot of people say, I don't know what my purpose is. I'm not feeling connected. And, I want to really share this with the audience, your audience and your listeners. We are all looking for a deeper connection to our soul, our spirit, our God, our higher consciousness. Every human being, whether you know it or you don't know it, whether you are longing for it or not longing for it, the soul wants to connect here. And the reason we have such unhappiness, mental health issues, depression, um, uh, drug drug problems, violence problems, the problems that plague human nature are enormous. because we have forgotten who we are. We have forgotten that we are really spiritual beings having a human experience. Now, when I
Wow.
say that, I speak from my experience of my journey. These are not things I read in books, although I read many books, but I was very blessed to have and find my spiritual teacher in Los Angeles, who passed away 5 years ago. His name is John Roger. His presence is very much still with me, and I study in the movement of spiritual inner awareness, MSIA, and in that movement, I learned about going beyond the emotional fabric of my being, going beyond the mental fabric of my being, beyond the unconscious, beyond the physical, and going into a place of where the spirit resides. It took me
Mm,
years to learn that. And when I wrote this book, Speaking with Spirit, which is my latest book, I put all those teachings that I've learned here because, if we want to understand something like spirit or God or divine nature or anything, we have to study it. We have to really devote ourselves to it. If you want to learn, meditation or yoga or any exercise, fitness, anything to do with education, we dedicate ourselves to it. If you want to learn how to be a carpenter, or how to drive a car or anything, right? You have to spend
yeah.
hours devoting yourself to doing that.
Yes.
The same thing with spirit. If you want to know your spirit, you have to put the inner practice and you
Mm,
decide. What I talk about this book is that in this book is that it's not about the church or the tradition. You could be a Muslim and you could be a Jewish practicing Judaism or Christianity or Buddhism, or you could be Hinduism, whatever it is. Or you might say, I don't belong to any tradition. It doesn't matter. You belong to God. God is a very small word for something that is so huge, and it is
mm,
a consciousness. And what I say is that God is not a being, it is a state of being that is in us.
mm.
It's in us. We don't go anywhere outside ourselves, because where do you go? You go inside yourself. And so when I say speaking with spirit, is you start to connect with your spirit. You take every problem, every situation, and you start little by little to open up the dialogue, the conversation with your spirit. And it is magical. Does it make sense?
Wow. No, absolutely. And I love the fact that you pointed out that when you want to become a carpenter, when you want to do something specific, you need to put in the time and practice. So the same thing applies here because, you can't just expect to reap the benefits and rewards of this by doing it for the first 60 seconds and say, oh, well, this doesn't work. Okay, time to move
Exactly.
on.
Yeah,
Exactly.
usually it takes like thousand, as far as I know, it's 1,000 hours you need to practice anything, whatever. It's to carpenter, to meditate, to
Yes.
cook, to whatever. To
Entirely
be,
to,
yeah,
to
you need to spend 1,000 hours doing it to understand it how it really does.
yes, unless you come into this planet Earth and you are already enlightened. But that's why, I encourage people to read the great masters. When we have, the masters of this on this planet that gave us so many amazing teachings. You have, first of all, you have the mystic poets: Rumi, Hafiz, Kabir, William Wordsworth, Walt Whitman, William Blake, Shakespeare, and then you get Emerson, Thoreau. Um, you get, the great teachers on this planet, the from Jesus the Christ to Moses to um, Buddha to Gandhi to, I mean, these are people who Saint Teresa of Avila, Saint Joan of Arc. I mean, I'm naming on and on, amazing beings who came and lived the path to
Mm.
soul shift. How do you shift into your soul and spirit? And I have a great metaphor that I'll give you in a minute. But Anna, yet you're about to start to ask me something.
No, I will actually let you continue, and then I will ask you afterwards.
No, no, no. Ask me because I can start talking, and then it's like a day later, and I'm still talking.
Well, since we're talking about the book, I know that you offer 52 guided meditations here. Could you share the inspiration? Like, how did you get to that specific number, 52? How did we
Well,
get here?
52 is really 52 is 52 weeks in the year, isn't that right? Yes,
Okay.
so that's why I wrote Wake
Uh-huh.
Up to the
Yes.
Joy of You, 52
Okay.
Meditations for a calmer and happier life is my book before that. And this is 52 prayers. And that's why I came up with every subject, like how to dial the spirit for direction. How amazing is that, right? How to dial, I mean, because everybody says, well, how do I become um, how do I know about spirit? How do I start really connecting with spirit? And I go, well, let's see, let's
Mm.
just dial the spirit. And let me see what I say here because I think I've forgotten probably.
So you get
Took a
so
year.
you get to choose the one prayer or meditation per week, and you just practicing it every day, and then you switch to the new one. So you have basically
Exactly. Or you
meditation for the all year round.
exactly. And then every week you take one and you practice it. And people say to me, I read chapter 28 about fearlessness and I'm still working on that and it helped me overcome my fear. So people really uh, get tremendous value out of shifting from the negative to the positive. Listen,
Mm.
this is really my message. Every day we all wake up and we have our breath because if didn't have our breath, we'd be dead. Okay, so that's what distinguishes us from the dead people is that we are being breathed. Because if I said to you, Vlad and Anayat and anybody who's listening, can you make your breath? I mean, you can slow it down, you can elongate it, you can make it deeper, you can make it fast in yoga, you can do the breath of fire. But if I say stop breathing unless I put a pillow over you or my hand on my mouth, you cannot stop breathing, you cannot make your breath. And I saw both my parents take their last breath. I was there, and I know we are not making our breath, correct? So
Mm.
therefore, there is a why every teaching now on um, mindfulness and meditation they say follow the breath
Right.
Mm.
because the breath
Yeah.
is your anchor. And even right now as we're talking, I want everyone to just start focusing, taking in your breath. Just a moment of taking in your breath. You know that even 60 seconds can start resetting your brain. And then feel your breath. You can even put your hand in front of you and you feel the breath and you feel your breath.
Right.
It's magical. It's magical. And you take in your breath and you slow down your breath, and the mind is going crazy, and the brain is going crazy, and the mind is going, oh my God, I have to do this, and I have to do that, and what about that, and I'm worried about this. And that's the thoughts, the monkey mind that goes on and on. And what if they don't like me? And what if I this happens? And what if I'm running late? And what? And there is a certain uh, panic that we all deal with, and we're never at peace. But if we focus on your breath enough, that's why we started with a prayer, because if we bow down the monkey mind, the disturbance of the emotions into the higher energy by just saying, I ask right now, and come to your breath, that I'm feel surrounded and protected by my inner spirit, by the inner light. And you stop and you breathe it in. And you breathe it in and then you exhale it, and you come into presence, you come into quietness, you come into serenity, and you start to bypass who you think you are with your thoughts and your emotions to your higher spirit, to your spirit that is in you, that is directly connected to your heart. So when people say, I don't know who to pray to, I say, who do you love? Who do you love? Go to your heart and connect with the ones you love. Connect with that loving being in you. Take time. Take moments in the day, but take quality time to be as quiet as you can, to be as silent as you can. You can play little music. I always play music. I have 33 guided meditations that are on Audible called Wake Up to the Joy of You guided meditations. I'm going to send you guys some of them, and you can send them to your teachers as my gift. And if people want to email me, it's agape at unbindingtheheart.com, unbindingtheheart.com. And through my meditations, I bring in the, the connection to your heart. I bring in that connection to your spirit. And once you have that, you can then start to move in your daily life with confidence, with security, with peace, and you can make miracles happen. Because when your heart is present, when your heart is open, when your heart is awakened to who you are, you feel invincible. You feel you're not alone. And you
Yeah.
can reach out to people and say, hey, I want to do this. I don't know how to do it. Can you help me? Hey, I'm having trouble with this kid at school. They're being very rowdy. They're being very upset. This kid come at school and I have this problem. Can you help me? You ask for help. You give help and you ask. Does that make sense? Because when
100%.
so many times we don't ask for help because we are afraid we are going to appear weak.
That's a very good point.
So the reason I wrote this book is to help people understand how to pray, because when you're praying, you're not praying to something outside yourself. You're praying to your soul. And believe me and trust me, your soul is always there. And your soul
Yeah.
wants to be connected, and your soul wants to guide you. So there is nothing that you cannot ask for. I'm not saying you're going to get it, but if you keep asking and listening, because let's say you want to, let's say, Anayat, tell me something you want in your life right now.
Something that I would like in my life right now.
Yeah, anything you want more of, okay? And then I'm going to ask Vlad. I'm going to put
It
you on the
sounds a
spot.
little. I would love to extend my guitar collection. I have 9 guitars. I'd like to add more.
9 guitars? Oh my God.
Yes.
Do you play the guitar a lot?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I don't think the word "play" is accurate. If you play, you would have to be good at it. But it's a bit of a hobby. That's correct. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you play. I mean, I can't even know how to begin. That's a hard. Do you have electric guitars or regular?
I do have they're electric guitars.
Okay, why do you want more? Can I ask you?
I love to collect things. So sometimes I'm into like electric guitars, watches, things that can cost quite a bit of money, unfortunately. But I guess with any good hobby, at the end of the day, ultimately it costs money to have a collection.
My God, that's adorable. I just trying to put my brain around that because I don't. I used to collect as a little girl. I used to collect these incredible rice paper napkins. From
Okay.
that I were like, and I had hundreds of them. Of course, when I
Okay.
moved from Greece, I gave them away. But I was never a collector. So that's an interesting. Okay, so let's say you want more guitars to enjoy. So, part of it is that you can start asking even for that and say, I ask that I may be gifted a guitar. It gives me joy. And you come back to the essence of why you want that. Because if you connect it to your joy, or it makes you feel happy, or more wealthy, or whatever it is, you find the quality of what it is. Like a lot of women say, I want more beautiful clothes,
Mm,
because they feel a sense of beauty, and they want,
mm,
with the clothes you express your beauty. So everything we do has a meaning to it. So you go to
yeah.
find the meaning of why you want what you want. And does that make sense?
No, absolutely. It makes sense. And I would, of course, give the traditional answer of, like, what do you want? And I think one of the biggest things what people say is, I want to make more money. I want to hire more employees. I want to grow my company. The reason why I didn't give that answer is, I grew up in poverty, deal with a lot of hardships when I was a child, but I had incredible parents, and I'm so grateful. I'm extremely grateful every day when I wake up. Before I sleep, I'm excited for the next day. I am excited to wake up. I'm excited to enjoy my cup of coffee. So that's the only reason why I didn't give the traditional answer.
No, I
But
think it's so honest and so wonderful. And whatever it is you want, as you place your wishes there, you'll be amazed of how the universe is benevolent, and it starts responding. And I
mm,
encourage people always to keep a journal close to their bed, close to when you wake up, when you go to sleep, and you keep affirming what it is. For me, it's like I always wanted this incredible relationship with spirit,
okay.
and I always want, what I love more is more opportunities to speak about the work that I do. I love, of course, during the pandemic, it was cut off. So speaking makes me so happy. So I ask for it all the time. And
Mm,
recently I did a course for Mind Valley. I don't know if you know Mind Valley
of
Vision
course, I love
Academy.
Vision. We both love Vision. Yes.
And I did a course for Mind Valley for 20 videos coming out in August, which I would love to share with you when I have it. And it's called Quest of Connecting and Creating with Spirit as your guide every day. And I spell it out. How do you connect with Spirit? How do you have everything you can create and manifest in your life, but with God as your partner? And again, I say God is a
Mm,
small word for something so large. We have no words to explain the mystic, the miraculousness of life. When you start to think of the universe just as we know it, it is unfathomable. So
mm.
uh, gratitude and reverence and humility is the core of the foundation of spirit. That's how I see it, because the more we bow down to something larger than ourselves, it reveals itself to us.
I 100% agree with you. And
You know, it's
I
there are no
You know,
words.
speaking of asking and understanding what you really want, I want to give a little story which happened 8 years ago when we just started our daycare. So we started the daycare. We were almost broke. We were maximizing our credit cards to stay alive on the ground. And back then, we would come to daycare at 6 a.m. in the morning, and we would come to one of our rooms, Anna, yet me, and my brother Edward, and we would lay down on the floor, and we would do this six-phase meditation by wishing, and we would imagine what we want to have in 3 years, in 4 years, in 5 years, and it really happened. I mean,
yeah.
we imagined what we wanted, and if you, in retrospect, we got what we wanted.
My God, that's
Yeah.
amazing. That's amazing. I love Vision's guided meditation. And now he has it as a course as well. Oh my God, that's incredible, Vlad. No, Vision is a remarkable man who's brought goodness into this world and is really has a real commitment to the human potential. And I feel you too as well. You know, really,
Thank you.
it's really incredible. So I wanted to read um, this beautiful chapter, which is chapter 2, How to Dial the Spirit for Direction. So I have this quote here that says, "Ships are safe in the harbor, but that's not what ships are made for. Our tendency as human beings is to stay safe and resist change. But in my experience, life pushes us towards change. Prayer can guide us one out of the harbor to start sailing, even if we can't predict the weather." Similarly, when I moved out of New York, a lot had changed. Both of my parents had passed away. My sister was now divorced and living in Los Angeles with her daughters, and she had asked me to live with her in LA. I was again so conflicted, but how could I let go of the life that I had created in New York with friends I loved and the rhythm I was now accustomed to, my own rhythm? So then I describe how I asked Spirit to help me move from New York back to live with my sister and my nieces. And it's a beautiful story. I won't take the time to read it, but every chapter in my book has a personal story of when I was stuck, when I was challenged. I asked for Spirit. And if I can say, this is my greatest wealth in my life, that I know that I can reach out to this mighty Spirit in us, in me, that we have, and Spirit will guide me. Spirit will say, go here, listen to this, call so and so. Find that will help me find my courage to move beyond my limited self, to something larger. So the prayer goes like this: Dear beloved, and every prayer starts with dear beloved, because I feel we are beloved to God, to ourselves. I quiet myself and I ask that I may move into clarity, receptivity, so I may hear the voice of my wisdom in choosing the proper and right decision for the situation. And you can add and say the situation of wanting to um, think, is this the right choice to move to another city, to um, find a partner, to create a school, to help my parents with this, to start a new job, whatever it is, and put your specifics there. I'm present. Most of us human beings, we want to know how it's all going to work out, and it's like nobody gives you the recipe. There's no recipe
Yeah.
about your life. You got to figure it out. You figured it out how you opened a preschool, and as you said, you would sit there and do the meditation, and 3 years later, it started manifesting, right? I
Yeah.
mean, you two are a great example of courage and creativity and manifestation. And you have the spirit, whatever you call it. You just got the vision and started executing it. So
Right.
you're great teachers to teach anybody who has come out of poverty, out of circumstances that were so challenging. I mean, Vlad, you came from another country, right?
Yeah, Uzbekistan.
Uzbekistan. How do you say it?
Uzbekistan.
I can't even say it. You have to spell
Uzbekistan.
it.
And by the way, if you haven't been, it's a absolutely beautiful. I went 2 years ago, I think, maybe 2.5 years ago now. Incredible,
Really?
If you
incredible. And for anyone who's wondering, Uzbekistan is a level 1 safe zone that's been dictated by the U.S. Embassy. You have level, like, if level 1 means it's safe, it's just like United
Yes.
States. And then you have
and if
other
you
places that's like
and
level
if you
3 or
love
level 4,
food
do not
tourism,
travel.
this is the place to go. If you love to eat, and I'm sure you're
Food,
from
well,
from yeah.
You
Greek,
have
of
to,
course. It Yes.
100%.
And we
One of
actually
the
have a
things that
lot of
came,
Greek there, a lot of Greek people there are living there, and big community
really,
of Greek people,
really.
right? Yeah. Hmm.
Well, no, we Greeks, we love to eat, we love to smooth, we love to talk, we love to party, we love to break plates, we love to fight. We're alive. And that's, I mean,
My
to me,
mom's boyfriend actually, he's a Greek.
really, where's your mom?
He's still there in Uzbekistan.
Oh, really? And you talk to her a lot?
Yeah, speaking with her every day, of course, and she's coming to America here often. So yeah, and
That's
actually,
fantastic.
you was mentioning breaking the plates. So this was one of the funniest thing we've been doing on my birthday, and you are doing it on the weddings usually, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes. Oh, I
Yeah, this
love
is
it.
so
How
funny.
perfect.
I think we broke the whole restaurant that day.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. People sometimes confuse spirituality with being in the monasteries, or being quiet or
Yeah.
chanting all the time. That has nothing to do. That's one way of doing it. Spirituality to me is joy. It's loving. It's caring. It's cooking for people. It's opening your home and saying, "Come eat with me." Let me
Yeah.
make you your favorite dish. It's really sharing from your heart. That to me is spirituality. Sharing your joy, hugging people a lot. You hug those kids, I'm sure, Anaya, don't you?
Yeah, of course. Of course. I have one on the way. He has two daughters. His brother has three daughters. I have a daughter on the way. We have
Congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
No, I mean it's all very real. And and
Yeah.
and why I feel so passionate about this whole theme is to bring that spirituality into our everyday. My mother used to say, give everything your full attention. It's as spiritual to wash dishes as it is to go
Mm,
to church and pray. It doesn't matter. It
mm,
doesn't distinguish. It's not like this is my spiritual life and this is my physical work life.
right.
Everything is spiritual. What else is there? What else is there?
Yeah.
We have
No, that's
36 trillion cells that are making all of us right now, all of us. So let me just say something. I feel very passionate about this world. It's going to make you feel like you're a second class citizen. And that is, I'm sorry, but that is a terrible thing to do to human beings. Nobody's a second class citizen. Nobody's a first class citizen. It doesn't matter what you have. My mother could be with a janitor, with a plumber, and the millionaires, and the billionaires, and the prime minister, and she would treat everybody the same. Because
yeah.
in this country, we have valued the dollar more than we value human values.
Yeah.
And we
This is
forget, and nobody, if you see anybody who is demeaning somebody because of their nationality or because of their wealth or because of their bank account or because of their color, you got to really cut it.
yeah.
Got to cut it and say you have no right to treat anybody as less.
Thank you for pointing that out. This is actually something that I strongly believe in. And this is one of the most important pieces of message that if you're listening to right now, just be please more mindful of that. Treat everybody the same. If
And
you're talking with a janitor, don't treat them differently as if you were speaking with your boss. We're all humans. We all connect on stories. We all have happiness to share. We all have sadness to share. We all have laughter to share. We're really this. I mean, we're the same.
exactly,
We're the same.
exactly.
This
And
is
we're all made out of the same fabric.
Agapi, I
And
have a
kids,
personal question for you. So I have two daughters, right? So how to make my daughters have same relationship as you have with Ariana?
how old are your daughters?
3 and 6.
Oh, how beautiful. I think never, never compare them to each other, first of all. My mother never said, oh, well, Ariana is good at that. You should be good at that. Agapi is good at that. I was
mm,
incredible at dancing, ballet. I always wanted to be an actress or a dancer. I hated math. I thought, why would anybody create algebra? It was incomprehensible to me. I prayed that my math teacher would die, as if they couldn't replace him. It was a him, Mr. Marinopoulos. I hated him, and I would look at these algebra puzzles and feel so dumb and stupid. And my mother finally hired a private teacher to come and who was teaching at school to give me, it was a private school, to give me all the solutions. So when I took the exam, I would know the solutions. So when I used to be so unhappy about it, my mother would say, why are you worried about it? We didn't bring you here for the math. We brought you here for the love and the joy. She knew that I was this love, joyful child. And she said, you want to be an actress? Well, you're going to go to this best school in London. And we found the school. And I went to the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts, where Anthony Hopkins and Helen Mirren and all this amazing Alan Rickman, who passed away, was in the school when I was there. Those amazing actors. And when I went, and she found me a teacher, and the teacher was trying to get me to act from Tennessee Williams. I remember she was giving me different plays, and I couldn't really emote. I was like stuck. And the teacher said to me, well, my dear girl, you are such a nice girl, Agapi, and I don't think you should be an actress. I don't really think you have the talent. So I went to my mother and I cried. And I said, Mommy, I doesn't believe I have a talent. I was so upset. And my mother said, oh, she didn't get you. That's not your teacher. We have to find who will get Agapi and help her discover her talent.
Wow.
That's
So
beautiful.
I was
That is.
17 years old. My mother could have said, oh, well, she's right. You're not an actress. You should go study accounting. Oh, not accounting. She would never say that because I was lousy at numbers. But let's say she would have said, you could become, in PR. You become in public relations. You could be running a hotel, Agape. You could be doing other things, and you could really try to give me, and I would have suffered.
Yeah.
So I'm saying this to the teachers who might say, you're not good at playing sports to a little boy. And the little boy was, and they said, look at your brother. He's so good at basketball and at soccer. But this other little boy might be very good at painting or singing. It is so important to empower the kids for what they have, for who they are, for their uniqueness. And so when I look at your daughters, the little one might be comparing to the older one. I don't know what is good. What is the older one good at?
She's good at piano.
It's a boy.
No, it's a
It's
girl.
it's both girls, right? So he's
Yeah.
good at piano. What about the little one? What is she good at? I bet she's very playful. Is she very playful?
She's playful. She's good at studying. She's good at concentration.
Well, they're both. If you play the piano, you got to be good at concentration. So,
I mean, she's good at concentration and piano, but not when she's studying like math or anything else.
right. Well, and don't make her wrong for that at all. Ever make her wrong, because they feel pressure then. And you say, look how great you are at piano. Look how great you are. Now let's take that quality, like the piano, and put it at this. She might hate studying because she's a musician. There's a great education. There's a great man in education called Sir Ken Robinson. Do you know his work? So he died unfortunately 2 years ago. You should his TED talk is one of the most popular TED talks. Sir Ken Robinson. It will blow you away. He talked a lot about how schools are ruining our children, and he said there was a little girl who uh, was always moving in her was always restless and moving her chair, like this, and getting out of her chair. And she was 7 or 8 years old. And the teacher went to the mother and said, your daughter never sits still, um, because we don't know what to do with her, but she won't sit still. So one day they put the little girl in the room and they played music and they closed the door and said, do anything you want to do. And the little girl started to dance. And I think Sir Ken Robinson was there observing the little girl because they called him to ask him for his consult. And he turned to the teacher and the mother and said, your daughter is a dancer. She doesn't want to sit still and learn these lessons in the school. Your daughter has to dance. And true enough, this little girl became a very well known dancer and she tells the story.
Wow.
So, um, and there was another little girl who was painting, and the teacher went up and said, what are you painting, Isabel? And she said, I'm painting a picture of God. And the teacher said, but nobody knows what God looks like. And she said, when I finish my painting, they will all know what he looks like.
Wow.
So, we have to encourage the children with this incredible imagination that they have and what they're good at. And my sister and I, when we were little, we fought. I mean, I wanted to play. My sister wanted to study. My sister would say, Mommy, get Agapi out of here. She's bothering me. So, but we were always very, very close in cahoots trying to, because my parents were separated and we wanted my mother happy. And my dad was like very erratic and my sister would always try to take care of me. So we had this bond from very young. But I think, honestly, Vlad, making a habit to all pray together and be grateful to each other. So, for example, having a dinner and saying, "Let us pray." The children know God. They love God, no matter what. And you just say, "Let everybody say one thing we're grateful for each other." So then you say, Dad, I'm grateful for you for this. And you build a practice of gratitude every day. You do not go to sleep without saying, I'm grateful for what happened today in this. I'm grateful that my sandwich was so good. I'm grateful that I shared my sandwich with this other little girl. I'm grateful that my teacher um, came today and hugged me. I'm grateful for little Johnny. When he fell, he didn't really hurt himself. Whatever it is. And then you make a habit of giving them a little book and lots of color pens, and they write to each other what they're grateful for each other. So you build
That's
this
nice.
practice that you don't take. I mean, it's natural that they'll fight and they're siblings and they'll say, well, she got too much more attention, or she got more toys, or she got more clothes, or she got better grades. It's in the DNA. The children are going to compare themselves to their siblings. But
Right.
building the other force field of the habit of loving each other and not forcing them to love, but gratitude will get you to love each other.
Yeah, that's
Mm.
that's actually what we're practicing every day. So before we go all to sleep, I'm saying, okay, everyone should say 5 things what they loved about today or yesterday. And each of us, me, my wife, and my 2 daughters, they would share. So
That's
every
it.
day they understand the gratitude, even
That's
for little things, as you said. Even if you like the sandwich that you ate on the morning, you have to be grateful for this.
exactly. And then
Yeah.
having children give, taking them. My mother always used to take us to an orphanage where we gave blankets and we gave the kids clothes, and since we're little girls, we learned that other kids had much less than us.
Hmm. Yeah. No, that is very powerful, Agapi. It's been an absolute pleasure getting to speak with you.
I still have
I want
my prayer to read.
Oh, please, no. We have plenty of time. I want to be mindful because I know you had a cutoff, but we would love to listen to that, and then I'll let our listeners know where to locate your workbook as well. But please, we would love to hear your prayer.
Well, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I just want to say I wrote the words so that I can give people a template of how you speak. If you want to speak, these are my words, but please find your words. I mean, as you said, Vlad, you have your practice of gratitude, but it's like, for example, for me, as I move forward, I ask that I may not let my fear stop me, but that I may be guided by the hand of the higher protective power that is for me. Let that guidance now give me a sense of strength and security and a solid foundation to see the choice that will bring me greater productivity, greater alignment, greatest cooperation, always moving hand in hand with my higher self in this decision. Your high self, your trillions of cells that are making you, your breath, your soul, whatever you want to call it, I claim my patience. So, what qualities that we have, you claim them. You remember that there is no urgency in spirit. And I thank you for helping me move past my own limitations, my ego, and any parts of me that hold me back from knowing that I'm always guided. I always do know what is best for me and my life. I now give this decision over to the light within and I go free. So, that to me is such a powerful thing. Whatever your struggle is, name it. Name it so you can tame it. Name it.
Mm,
Whatever it is you want more of. Like Vlad said, I want my children to have a great relationship, agape, like you and Ariana have. And you ask for that and you accept what is. And I always say, come to presence exactly as you are. If you're sad, if you're unhappy, if you're frustrated, if you're annoyed, if you're irritated, the bottom line is the more you accept and love yourself and have compassion for you and have, like Anayet said, I can't wait for the morning. I go to bed with a heart full and I can't wait for the morning. How beautiful is that? And the more you bring you your kindness and you say, good, I'm doing good work. I love what I do. Be kind, be tender, be loving, be sweet to each other. The world needs more kindness and sweetness. Please, you've got it, but we've got to trust it. And if you forget, you can email me, agape at unbindingtheheart.com. I feel my mother gave me this Greek name called agape, unconditional love. I feel that's what I came to learn. That's what I came to teach. The world needs more loving. And please be a pioneer, be a guiding light, be a conduit to your heart, to your loving. You will make, so when you walk into a room, you change the energy in the room because you
yeah.
walked in, people feel better. Because Vlad right now is smiling to me. I feel his good energy. And Anna yet welcomed me when I came in, and I felt your good energy, and it filled me up. So I'm going to leave this podcast better than when I started. I will feel more uplifted because we connected. That's what life is about.
Yeah.
Wherever you go, make sure you are the giver. And if you need to receive, you say, yes, I need to receive today. I need more kindness to receive from someone else.
Wow. Those are very powerful words. Very powerful words. Thank you so much for that. And by the way, for those of you who have not checked out Agapi's work, it's absolutely incredible. She's been very kind of us again to send us a copy of her book, which is Speaking with Spirit 52 Prayers to Guide, Inspire, and Uplift You, regardless of your religion, whether you believe in religion. That has nothing to do with this. In fact, it's a must read, and it's a book where she shares her unique experiences, but every story you can resonate with. It does not matter, and that is the beauty of this. This is, and your writing, by the way, is so beautiful, and it's fantastic of what you do. And actually, I forgot to mention this, but I actually did hear a meditation guide that you did. I don't remember which clip, but it was one clip. It was relaxing. Something about you, I don't know if it's your energy. It's
Yes,
infectious. The way you sound, it's very
yes.
calming. Thank you so much for what you do. And I've really, I feel very privileged and humbled to have this conversation with you, and your time. Can you please let us know where our audience can find your workbook? Is it a particular website, and on social media, where they can find you?
Well, I definitely recommend this book, the book Wake Up to the Joy of You, 52 Meditations to Guide, Inspire, and Uplift You is the Speaking with Spirit. Wake Up to the Joy of You is 52 meditations for calmer and happier life. People say to me, I hear from people who are 80-year-old. Woman wrote to me and said, I've been waiting for your book all my life. It changed my life. It just
Wow.
brought me what I know. She said, all my life I've been conversing with God and I didn't know what to call it. It was prayers. So,
Mm,
I hear from kids to older people, it is beyond age, beyond religion, and beyond ethnicity. It is belongs to all of us. This book was given to me by the beautiful spirit of my heart and by the spirit that lives in all of us. And you can download it and hear it in audio. I have 33 meditations from my other book, and I listened to them myself because they were downloads. They were like, so people say, well, how do you write this meditation? I said, I don't write them. They just come through me. I put them
yeah.
in music, and they lift you. They uplift you. And it makes me so happy to have people who say, I started my day sad and frustrated, and I heard your meditation, wake up to the joy of you, and boy, I feel great. So it
Yeah.
makes me so happy to be able to contribute to people's happiness. And I recommend you going to my website, wakeuptothejoyofyou.com. You can follow me on Instagram, Agapi Sees, SEES, agapisees.com. Of course, Facebook, but I'm very active on Instagram. And send me an email, agapi at unbindingtheheart.com. If you want some of my meditations as a gift, I'll send them to you. And share your thoughts and download the book and the meditations, and let's all be lifting and loving each other and make this world a better place while we're still here.
Agapi, thank you so much for those words of inspiration. This has been a fantastic interview. We've loved having this conversation with you. Again, I think this is very important for people to realize, because we get so caught up in our day to days, our work, our active roles, whether it's being a dad or a partner or a friend. So we just have to slow it down and you know take it back to the very basics.
And listen to
Um,
the whisper of our wisdom. Listen. It's listen.
yeah.
We have to slow down, not to slow down, but to slow down so we can download the soul's wisdom. We can download and become
Hmm.
present with our soul. It is such a shame to live a life that you're not connected when you can have the connection. If you claim it, if you ask for it, if you pray for it, if you uh, let yourself be guided. It is not a complicated thing. We make it complicated, but really come back to your heart. Come back to your heart.
Yeah.
And the heart is soft and sweet. Our hearts are incredibly mighty and incredible wise, but our world never promotes people saying live in your heart. People, you say,
Yeah.
say go be educated, make more money, get be more acknowledged, be recognized, instead of saying live in your heart. And you go to bed
Yeah.
at night and you go, oh my God, what an amazing day. I was a heartfelt day. I connected with people in the subway and people on the bus and strangers in the supermarket. And you just ask for what you want, as we said. Anayat wants more guitars. I want to be more. I want to be out there speaking at venues and different organizations. That's what my wish is. So see me doing that. And Vlad, what do you want?
Oh, that's a tough question. What I want? I want to come to understanding um, where do I want to have my house, because I'm traveling a lot. I love New York. I love Arizona. I love my country. So I want to understand already where my house will be for the next 15, 20 years with my family.
You mean where are you going to build roots for you and your family, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Uh-huh.
Well, I keep asking for your spirit to say, show me where is my home, where I feel on purpose, where I feel fulfilled, where I feel I'm serving more. Where is my community? Where are my people? I have a whole chapter here, finding your people, finding your roots. So, and we start for you. That's the other thing. We see Anayet having a few more guitars.
Maybe I'll have few more houses and I'll be living in different places.
Houses and here and there.
Fair enough.
And I'll be all over
fair
the
enough.
world speaking.
Yeah.
That would be
Well,
fantastic.
God bless
And
you
I'm sure.
both. I just think
Thank you very much.
you are such an inspiration, and I'm just truly gifted with your presence and your work, and so grateful that we connected, and we keep supporting each other in our work.
100%. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I hope I meet you soon.
This podcast is sponsored by ArgoPrep, an award-winning edtech company serving over 1 million students nationwide. We understand that as parents, you want to ensure that your child receives the best education possible. Say hello to ArgoPrep. With over 15 plus educational awards earned in just the past year, ArgoPrep's platform offers your child video lessons, quizzes, drills, printable worksheets, and more. Best of all, your ArgoPrep subscription comes included with 4 comprehensive digital workbooks that cover all 4 subjects: math, ELA, science, and social studies. Visit argoprep.com today and start your free trial.